It's 3 o'clock finally, and I get to talk about Sorcerer King. I'm so excited. I'm Adam. That's Scott. This is the Stardock Sorcerer King dev stream. Super exciting. We are showing off an internal build today of Sorcerer King.
That's right.
Which is our asymmetrical fantasy 4X in which the Sorcerer King is trying to blow up the world and you're trying to stop him. So it's a little somewhat roguelike, somewhat RPG. Yeah. Definitely 4X. Definitely a little shooty fighty from time to time. I don't really know where I'm going with this. So Scott, why don't you tell us a little bit about what we're showing today?
This build, we have the tree hooked up for the Dwarf Lord, which is the Tinker's hero. He starts off with his two buddies, the two Arctic Wolves, which are brown right now. They will not be brown forever. I'll get into their tree in a little bit. We also have the Tinker tree that I'll be diving into a little bit more. I can show off the weapon and crafting enchanting screen. There's not too much to do with it right now. There's some missing data, but if we run into the Frozen Realm, we get to talk to them and see their animated Bink in all its animated glory. So we have that too.
Very cool. XSplit is telling me that I'm dropping frames, so I don't really know what's going on with that. So if you're having trouble seeing the stream, let me know, and maybe I need to restart XSplit or something. But this is really annoying. Anyway, we're going to continue on as if everything is working. So it's gonna be fun.
Oh, look at that. Oh.
Oh, hey! You were just all excited about it.
I was excited, but the problem is that this is actually the Sorcerer King coming to talk to me. So this is the joys of internal builds. You get to find all the bugs. Imagine this is a beautiful Sorcerer King animated screen where he's coming to tempt you with riches.
It is a beautiful screen. It's just,
Yeah. It didn't. Streams are fun because you can't plan things. You try to plan things, but so yeah, well, every single minor race and Sorcerer King and even the quests will have. I don't think the quests will be animated, but they'll certainly have a big, beautiful piece of art to enjoy as you quest.
Excellent.
I'm gonna tell this doppelganger to go away. He ruined my build-up. All right, let's go searching.
Well, the build doesn't always cooperate, but no, I mean it's part of our quest to make make the world feel a little bit more. I hate using the word immersive because it makes me want to die.
Alive, rich.
There you go.
Interesting.
Yeah, those are all good words that you could totally apply to our game. The chat likes the screen, which is cool. One of the other things that you'll notice in Beta 4, which is coming first week of February, is the plan to drop Beta 4, is that we have so many more quests. I don't know if I brought this up last week, but I mean it's literally like I think we added like 400 quests or something.
We have an amazing team of players that are helping us out. So if anybody from the mods team is listening, thank you guys for all your help.
For sure.
Holy cow. It's been great. We still have a backlog of things to hook up, even above and beyond what they've done and put in already. So yeah, it's gonna be exciting. Beta 4 is gonna kick some butt. Are kids listening? Probably not.
Probably not. Maybe. I don't know. I think kicking butt is probably okay though.
Okay.
I think the Ninja Turtles can get away with saying it, so we'll probably be all right.
Okay, I gotta take these. So these guys poison dart me like right away.
So annoying.
I hate them.
Hey, did we get the fix for their AI in yet? Where they were sometimes acting like pioneers instead of like fighting.
Oh, were they? Oh, yeah. It must, because they look at them.
They're going after you pretty good. That might have only ever been an internal thing. I don't know if that made it to production.
I mean, I can imagine. I can see where the logic would get screwed up there because they are technically capable.
They're tagged
of
as pioneers, right?
Yeah.
I talked to Brad about it, and he sounded like he knew exactly what the problem was.
Okay. So cool. Yeah, it seems to be fixed, and last few battles, they've definitely been putting up a fight. So I've been playing for a little bit. I worked my way up the Dwarf Lord tree a little bit, so I have Dwarven Fury. So the whole deal with the Dwarf, he's kind of a berserker, he's kind of a tank, but a lot of his abilities will affect your friends. So there's a lot of friendly fire situations you have to be careful with. So Dwarven Fury is actually a sweep. It attacks all the enemies around you for 150% normal attack, but it will hurt your allies. So I'm safe. I will do that. I will take out those stupid Urksmen.
So do you start with the wolves as the Tinkerer, or did you?
Yeah, you start with, right now it's the dwarf and his 2 Arctic wolf pets.
Sweet.
So we'll get some new abilities for them and for Beta 4.
That's a good question. Jarenk, that's what I'll call him, asks, poison doesn't stack, right?
Poison does not stack. It's a 1,
Yeah, it's a binary debuff.
Yep.
So it's not as bad, but it's definitely annoying in the early game. Later on, when you have a bunch more hit points, you get poisoned and you really don't care. But
yeah, it doesn't scale nicely with the game,
which is fine. I mean, it's like you should be mowing through Urkson, on turn 50 or whatever.
Yeah.
So not necessarily a huge problem.
Yeah. Oh, goodbye.
I have a question for you, Scott. How do you feel about the way that things like I noticed that a lot of the wolves, they have the deadly bite ability.
Yeah.
That doubles their attack, but because of the way the armor calculation works, they do way more than double damage against moderately armored targets.
Yeah.
So I lose dudes all the time out of nowhere to freaking wolves, where I'm like, oh, I'm doing fine, I'm not taking damage, and it's like Trump for 12, and it's like, oh, come on.
Yeah. A lot of that just feels like balance, figuring out, right now these wolves will be getting an overhaul, but I almost feel like the players' wolves and the AI wolves should be tweaked a little.
Yeah.
It's hard to get a balance that feels good, where the same unit feels good on the attacking end and feels good when he's in your party. It's just a weird, what?
Totally.
Yeah.
So here's a good idea out of the chat. Stardock says there ought to be a shadow shift ability that also creates a shadow duplicate. I would totally use that ability. That should be something for Nafaz.
Yeah,
that would be a cool warlord ability, because he's got shadow shift, but it sucks.
Yeah,
not to put too fine a point on it, but
where would that go? I mean, the whole point of shadow shift is to swap what.
But when do you ever actually want to swap with Nafaz, especially at the cost of 5 hit points? I have issues with this.
I'll surround him. I surround Nafaz, and then I'll shadow shift in like a Trog or something, and then he just gets destroyed by the flanking. I basically just beat on him with the little circle of guys. But I see your point, especially for the HP cost.
Maybe it's better. Maybe it's better than I think it is. Maybe I'm just not using it right. I don't know. Yeah. But a lot of questions about where are all the ducks that should be on that pond.
Oh my goodness, are they not showing up?
We might be suffering from the duck bug still.
Options, ducks. I don't know. The option's not in yet. Okay, well.
Dude, I have to bring this up because it cracked me up. Pillars of Eternity is that Obsidian kickstarted RPG, super old school RPG. And they had a stream the other day, and they showed their option screen. One of their options is maim companion NPC, maim NPCs before death. Which is what it does is, before they just straight up die, they take a wound or whatever. But the way the option is worded, it just sounds like the most horrible. Why would you do that? That just seems mean.
Yeah. No, that sounds like there was a list of the best Sims 3 patch notes.
Oh,
and it read a lot like that. Oh my God, this is horrible. Babies cannot crawl into the street and get hit by cars. And
so good. Anyway, perhaps we're a little off topic here. What are you? Oh, you're still in your Athica level up screen. That's why. I was like, what have you done to the build?
Probably lock me there for
probably
dumb
should.
people like me. Okay, what am I?
Jeez, that is a really good starting position.
I like that over there.
You just take the shard. The shard's 5/3. That's the best one.
Yeah.
That is a really good starting position.
Okay, let's cast some spells. Do these stack?
Yeah, Frankenfurter brings up that PoE, which I assume he means Path of Exile, has 2 teleporting moves. Path of Exile is great, by the way. You should totally play it. One creates a duplicated source, and one does it at the destination. Yeah, I mean, like, the duplicate idea is really cool. I don't know. I mean, it would require a bit of code, so it's probably not, and probably art to be really cool.
Yeah.
So it might be something that's,
I don't know.
not for release, but
maybe I'll show off. We have new summon units, and we actually
Oh,
did some
sweet.
work on a shader to make the summon units kind of more ethereal than your regular units, so you can pick them out really easily. Know what's
you should
going on
totally do that. You should hook it up.
Let's go to there. How far away?
That's not that far.
No, am I making? I want a pioneer. Where did
You gotta
we end
find
up?
that.
So last week we tried to talk about your starting moves. What you should do to start your adventure.
Yes.
What can we talk about? What kind of middle game? Or I guess I'm not even in the middle game.
No, you're not, unfortunately. But I think it's worth talking about. One of the things that does really make Sorcerer King different is the idea of threat, right? And like your threat with the Sorcerer King.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's not always to your advantage to go out and found cities as quickly as possible and like go take out strongholds and stuff, even though strongholds totally suck because they take away your settling sites and they spread the Shadowlands and you want to get rid of them as soon as possible, but you kind of have to balance that with how pissed is the Sorcerer King at me right now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, the moment that threat level gets up to like 3, if you're early game, it's all hell's breaking loose from the Shadowlands.
So I don't know. That's one of the things I find interesting. It's one of the things I think that still probably needs some iteration, and because like there's
you kind of want to play the game where you're going under the radar. You're trying to get as far as you can without him realizing that you're a threat.
Right.
So I want to talk a little bit about some of these spells.
You should totally do that.
The Arcane Forge, I totally want to get that because
you had like 5 essence or something.
I have tons and tons of essence at that starting point. So this should be a really good option. It's going to take me 21 turns, though.
Why is your research so crappy? Or did some of these values get changed?
Maybe some of them got changed.
Nature's Bounty is ridiculously good. You should probably get that.
Bam, 6 turns, gladly. And let's actually boost that up.
Yeah, you people and you're messing with the magic thing. I almost never do.
Yeah.
I like my balanced
3 turns,
approach.
but now it's 3 turns.
So. Fair enough. And for something like Nature's Bounty, it might be worth it.
I just want it. I want it, and then it's that stacking effect. If I get it early enough, then the benefits. It's benefits I want to capitalize on early.
Right. I had a question about what good is a wisp? Just another dude in your army? No, wisps do when you summon them, they actually do an AoE heal around themselves.
All units, all summon units, their thing is that not only do they give you another dude on the battlefield, but they all have an area of effect or some sort of tactical battlefield effect. So wherever you drop them, you're going to see an effect. Wisps will heal all adjacent units.
Right.
Assassin demons come in, and I think that they cut the combat speed of guys in half and can go right away.
Nice.
Like all kinds of different stuff where you really want to think about who you use and where you drop them and stuff like that.
That is a nice spot for a Pioneer right there.
Ooh, I don't think it'll reach over here. Will it? No.
Well, what reach over there?
Here we go.
To reach to what?
I want
the
the
shard? Well, yeah, obviously.
Okay.
I was like, why would you not get the shard?
Okay.
Like you were pointing. No, you were pointing at him at a good spot. I was actually not trolling you for once.
I'm learning how to play. Oh, let's fight.
You should totally fight.
Infights tend to be pretty straightforward.
That's a lot of dudes.
Oh,
you.
Can you
That's your scout.
spot what I did wrong? Oh, here.
Oh, there you go. Oh, scouts have escape now?
See you later.
10 mana, though, man. That's a lot to
guys.
save your dingus scout.
Yeah, but he took a good 8 turns to build, so.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Alstein says that he thinks it's a little too strong that you can summon a unit anywhere on the map. How do you feel about that, Scott?
If he's talking about the strategic map, we're actually changing a lot of that. With one of the things that got overhauled for Beta 4 is the summoning spell book. So pretty much all summoning spells, except for some really high level ones, are tactical map only. So we're changing it because it gets a little tricky. Logistics is supposed to be the big resource, and the moment that you can start summoning units for mana, it changes the focus of the game. We really want that spearhead of the design to be, the logistics driving. Logistics should be the main factor here, not
sure.
mana. So there are some. I mean, not to say that you can. I think we renamed it like conjure fire elemental. We'll drop a fire elemental on the strategic map. If you have to have a lot of mana.
Sure.
And it does cost a mana upkeep, so it's it may not be something you want to do, but it's not going to be as easy as, this one spell gives me 2 spells, a strategic and a tactical. It's just a little bit, it felt a little sloppy, a little confusing to new people.
Yeah, no, I think that's very legit. So Gilmoy actually just served me up a nice little softball in the chat of maybe add some cacti and desert hexes. One of the things that we're doing in Beta 4 is adding a bunch of new ground cover. So adding little doodads, little tufts of grass to grasslands.
Yeah, I think you can see some of them. Like here's a doodad that's
it's like a fallen column.
But they do serve a gameplay purpose. The like the Shadowlands have these thorny
we showed
ivy.
this off a couple of streams ago, I think.
Yeah, so they all basically function as forests. They're areas where your moves will be depleted faster, but it gives a whole lot of visual differentiation.
It adds a little texture to the map, which is nice. You should cheat off the Fog of War and go find the Ice Lord so we can show that screen again, because I love it.
Okay, let's do it.
Man, where the heck are they?
They may not even...
They may not...
They're
That's
not
right.
even in the game, so
funny.
We'll have to... Okay.
It's just Keepers and Imperials,
Remnant. Okay, so
are they
these
in?
guys are going...
Everybody has the screen.
Basically,
Excellent.
everybody's using this bank, so...
but it's a sweet bank, so, so that's cool.
We'll just sit on here. Let's talk. I do, these all turned out really, really great.
Yeah, so we're going to have one of these for each minor faction.
Yep.
Are we also going to have one for the Sorcerer King?
Sorcerer King will have one. And then we'll have images for the quest. Lots more variation on the images that you see for the quest.
That'll be nice. That'll be nice for sure.
So, lots of work being done there. I'm going to leave and turn. I think I agreed to something.
You may have.
Okay, well, I'm going to...
The stretching of things in those windows drives me nuts, too. But obviously that'll change.
Yes, that's a bug. Okay, I'm going to pretend I forgot all that. And let's get these guys. Do I have the power? I think I do. Actually, one thing we can show off...
It's just Trog. Yeah. It's just a Trog and some Darklings. Darklings do almost nothing.
That's true. Yeah, I guess
they're kind of almost free XP.
Yeah. Yeah, they get a little bit more interesting with bigger armies where they start swapping you into a mix. They'll bring your guys right in the middle of a pack of wargs or something.
I guess theoretically that can happen.
Yeah.
Mostly their XP.
That's the design.
Okay. I like XP, so it works out for me. Let's see. The new crafting system is Enchantment, which we've talked about a little bit. I think, Scott, you were saying it's probably going to be next week to show Enchantment.
I'm just going to hold off on showing that right now. There's not enough meat on it to show it off. But what I can show off right now is the results, the new auto-resolve stuff that's been going in.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of different tiers. Right now, my battle is uncertain. Which means if I press the auto-resolve button, I don't know what's going to happen. It could be, I could win but lose a couple of guys. This basically means if you fight, you're probably going to lose a dude.
Excellent.
But you may lose. You don't know. So this is obviously a fight I want to see through. But
this ain't even a problem. You're going to wreck these dudes. I think our combat rating is overvaluing Darklings.
Yeah.
Well, actually, that depends. Does the dwarf have any armor on him yet, or is his defense like super
chain
low?
Boots or something? Not enough to.
Well, chain boots will help.
Yeah. Okay, so it's how he's gonna. He always starts off with that battle cat or the battle
Battle
cry.
Cry. Yeah,
And it ends up,
the Trog AI is overvaluing Battle Cry a lot.
yeah.
Because they like I've seen them. I see them just chain cast it all the time. Like they'll even chain cast it when there's like one. He's the only guy on the map.
Yeah, yeah. It's got to
So
put some.
not to keep poo pooing on our own game, but it's a beta. It gets it's being worked on. It'll get fixed. No, I mean that's one of those like, Brad made that huge AI change and it has some ramifications that we need to work through, and that's okay.
Okay, so they took me into the thick of it. Let's get out of there.
I had a question about do we have an ETA for the beta yet? If you hadn't joined us when we answered that earlier, we do. First week of February is the plan. There's some confusion over whether that means 3rd or 5th. Generally speaking, we have been releasing betas on Thursdays, which would mean the 5th. So that's probably the safest date. As always, things change. Don't kill us if it's the 7th or something. Would you build your stupid shard shrine, please?
We're pretty confident. Can I? Oh yeah. Oh.
Thank you. I feel better.
Okay, but that means I need to get some logistics going. As we said before, logistics really are the major bottleneck. You gotta always be worrying about those, and that's why minor races were really supposed to be the strategic tool for getting around the logistics cap. You team up with these minor races and suddenly you get guys joining you that don't take logistics. So the moment that we started playing with the summoning spell book, and we decided pretty early that we wanted to weed out the ability just to zap guys onto the map. But right now I need, let's see, barracks. So let's get that barracks going. And yeah,
Barracks are super important, and they let you make units that are much less useless than the soldier, which is exciting. Which is one of the things I love about the Tyrant is that you don't actually you get better soldiers so quickly as a Tyrant.
Yeah.
Which I really love because getting those first couple guys out that are better than your soldiers is such a big deal, especially if you can get them a little leveled up. Yeah. So, let's see. Captain Poopfist did not actually ask us about ducks, which is kind of surprising. Says, after playing different early access, this game seems really polished. Thank you for the compliment.
Excellent.
We appreciate that.
Thank you, Captain.
Oh, Captain,
or is
my
it
Captain.
Is it Mr. Poopfist or
Hair Poopfist?
I salute you.
Gilmoy suggests maybe making the shard itself jump up and down, cross its arm, and tap its toes.
Yeah.
I'm in favor of that.
Yeah.
I might have a little bit of a job convincing the team of that.
Yeah. No, it needs to get annoyed at you. The game needs to scold you and waggle its finger if you are not tapping a shard, because
It really should.
Magic is so vital.
It really is. Even that second shard that you get is such a huge deal.
Yeah.
And everyone, even 2 to 3, 3 to 4, it opens up so many new options for what you can do, because the good spells cost a lot of mana. Yeah. And you need mana for crafting. And once you can start enchanting your units because you can afford that mana upkeep, it makes a huge difference. Oh, dude, that mage is gonna kill you super dead if you try to attack him.
I won't do it.
All right. That's probably for the best. Here's a good question. Is it ever useful to have 2 different cities both build a library or the second tier like alchemists and jewelers, or is the second one just redundant?
No, it unlocks a random, 5 random items or recipes.
Right.
So it's definitely worth going in and building as many of those as you want. It's kind of a random roll every time you do it. But yeah, there's building them is not redundant.
Right.
Without it.
Here's a good question. Are there any plans for giving trained units extra skills when they level up? Not like a skill tree or anything, but just, when you hit level 3 or 5 or whatever, you get something.
We've talked about that. There's 2 ways to do it. Or there's any combination of these ways. Right now, the way that you tend to give your units new abilities is through your sovereign tree. different sovereigns will have the ability to unlock, just a universal unlock of, now my soldiers can cleave. Now my soldiers can rush. Now my pioneers can do whatever. So, so right now we've kind of sided in the, what I kind of feel it's a less micromanagey way of giving those benefits. 'Cause otherwise it's a nice universal, like, okay, I know my soldiers have this now, opposed to, okay, which soldier was it that I leveled up and now can
especially
rush?
because you don't have like a visual difference
exactly
on the tactical screen or anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a good
so
point.
it's a little bit, I don't know. I personally like those big broad strokes. But I know we're getting a lot of new heroes in. So you'll be seeing some differentiation there on abilities. So there's definitely room for unlockables and stuff, but on the units themselves, I personally prefer through the sovereignty, but I can be persuaded another way.
Do we foresee new sovereigns in the future through DLC? It certainly would be an easy way to expand the game through DLC. Part of it, I mean, like, you're going to get the ability to customize your sovereign and create your own sovereign, pick your own books and whichever super abilities and like starting parties and stuff. So that'll be in the game at launch for free.
We're trying to hold our sovereigns to a pretty high level of differentiation, trying to make sure that every single one of them plays different, feels different. You should, at the very least, you're going to get, 6 really solid runs out of the game, playing each one and saying, playing as the tyrant feels significantly different than playing as the priest.
The chat is taunting you, by the way.
Have I not moved
I can stare at those spellbook particles all day.
Oh, awesome.
Which is a pretty good burn. I like that. But I mean, like, DLC is one of those things where it's like, obviously we'd like to make DLC if you guys like the game enough to support us in buying DLC.
But it is, I mean, we are really focusing just on version 1 right now.
It's so hard. And like, it's such a, I always used to hate it, before I worked on this side of the industry. I always used to hate everybody. We're just really focusing on this right now. But it's so true. Like, it's so impossible to make those plans, because a lot of it too comes from like what kind of DLC we make depends on what people are into. Like, we're going to,
reviews are going to come out. People are going to chime in, and you may have a trajectory. I mean, I'm sure that Brad has like a 20-year trajectory.
I'm sure he does.
For Stardock. But, rest assured that will change based on, what works and what doesn't. And
Right. So if people want more sovereigns, I mean, we can totally make more sovereigns. If people want, like, one of the things
it's been talked about internally.
Yeah.
For sure.
One of the things I know we definitely want, or at least was as of a while ago, so please don't take this as a promise, as always, but is new factions to play as. Right, so you're not always playing as effectively as Alter, but you'd be able to play as different factions, different races, stuff like that. That isn't in scope here for the initial 1.0 launch, but like something like that that's a nice big addition to the game that feels worthwhile as a paid DLC. Devil Dog like better. Galciv 3 or Sorcerer King. I love all my babies equally, I will have you know. So don't even worry about that. Question, does Wrath of Fire damage an entire enemy group in a map square? I believe that is indeed what it does. I know we certainly have Wrath of Fire. I don't remember what that one does specifically, but we certainly have spells that damage enemy.
Fireball,
Well, Fireball hits 9 squares in tactical.
It hits 9 squares.
Wrath of Fire might be one of the strategic ones that hits a map square.
Okay. I
know we definitely have those.
Yeah, there's Pillar of Flame. Pillar of Flame is the one that comes to my mind. The strategic.
I like the priest ones, the divine favor ones that that don't just hit a tile.
Yeah.
they nuke a tile.
Yeah, I like seeing the.
I totally screwed myself on that one. So.
I like seeing the path of destruction.
So let's talk about the tanker abilities. These look pretty cool.
Right. I'll go over them real quick, but you guys teased me about Thrifty Potioneers last week, so I don't know I don't know how in depth I'm gonna get. A little hurt. Actually, let's see. Yeah, so the Tinker's big thing is just getting lots of loot and crafting lots of stuff, and it's not the size of your army; it's their equipment and their weapons and stuff. So, lots of legendary items to unlock and build. We got rid of the clairvoyance tree, so now you actually make these clairvoyance amulets, which allow you to cast more spells in battle, which is a pretty major change from every other sovereign in the game. Lots of cool things with ways to get loot, transmutation, loot mining. So every resource that you tap into will actually give you goodie huts. They'll spawn goodie huts that you can go and collect gems and potion making ingredients. That's awesome. Stuff.
I will totally play the hell out of the Tinker because I freaking love the crafting. Yeah. Not just like because it's like this amazing, in-depth system right now. Necessarily, but because just from a gameplay perspective, I'm such a power gamer, right? Yeah. That like from a gameplay perspective, it's so good. It's like it's way better than building units. Yeah. Because because you're logistics constrained anyway, and then B because whatever. So your soldier died. His brother man gets all of his stuff, and he's just as good. Yeah. And it's so powerful.
Yeah, it feels nice. From what I've played with the enchantment system, that it really does tie into that, where you'll have. Even if you don't have enough stuff to make the best weapons, being able to take those, midnight stones and those gems and stuff and enchant your swords with them.
That's one of the things that I think is really important about the enchantment system too, because right now you collect such a gigantic grab bag of stuff.
Absolutely.
That it gets so frustrating when it's like, great, more of this crap that I don't actually have a recipe for or whatever. So giving a use to that stuff. But then, there's always like, well, maybe that is going to unlock some awesome, or that's going to go into some awesome ring for the next time you build a jeweler. So, there's definitely a cost to it, and definitely, a strategy to worry about. But nonetheless, very exciting.
So here's an interesting one up the line here is Civic Heroes, where you start, where you can craft things that affect what a stationed unit does. So you can actually
put them on like administrators.
Put it on in administrators, exactly. Yeah, to boost them in interesting ways.
Oh, that's cool.
So lots of little things like that. Let's actually.
How thrifty are your potioneers, though, Scott?
Not much. I haven't gotten it, so shut up. I'm gonna get enchanted maps, so I can start making maps that show me what I want to see. Those are my oracle items.
Excellent.
If I want to.
I had a good question out of the chat here. Any thoughts on adding rally points? Which I don't know if there's anything we've necessarily talked about. Like, ultimately, your unit count in Sorcerer King tends to be pretty low.
Yeah. And you are and we're kind of... It really is a funnel towards a Stack of Doom. We're kind of embracing the Stack of Doom. So it's less about holding those positions and more about, like, there aren't too many wandering forces to deal with. It's more, I've gone out, I see these new, stationary locations that I have to deal with.
Right.
You have the lieutenants wandering, but in general, I don't. And maps are smaller. It's just there's a lot to.
Maps are smaller. Maps are freaking huge.
I'm sorry. Maps are smaller than Galciv.
Oh well, yeah.
So
Galciv maps are ridiculous.
And Galciv,
we're dropping immense and gigantic or whatever tomorrow too. Yeah. So that's pretty exciting. Galciv beta tomorrow, by the way, if you're interested in that. That's happening, which is pretty exciting.
In Galciv 2, I remember. I mean, we went as far as setting different types of rally points, so that way you can, I want to
transports here, going here. Oh, sure.
So yeah, a rally point manager. So I understand the perceived need for it, but it doesn't. It's not as necessary here.
Right. And to my mind, like rally points are for like, okay, well, I've got all these cities that are making troops, and I want to funnel my troops together so that they band together into armies before they go fight, because you never want to get your dudes picked off before they can make friends or whatever. But it just doesn't really happen in Sorcerer King. And it's one of those things too where we've talked about this before. Oh, we got stuff peeking through the fog. I hate that. Oh, is that because you cheated it?
It's because I cheated it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, fair enough. That's my fault then. I asked for the cheat. Rally points would be primarily for pioneers. That's kind of interesting. I don't, but I mean, again, you don't really end up with big stacks of them. Like I always,
you would every single time that you. Well, I could see. I'm sorry. I guess I could see it for outposts, but even outposts, they're only going to have 6 upgrades a piece, whereas like star bases
have like 20
you
or
can,
whatever.
yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm not feeling rally points. And like, to be honest, you never
Victory.
automation is always a danger, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't want to take the game out of the player's hands.
Yeah, and especially once you once you're going through enemy territory and you're dealing
Right.
with that pioneer, if that route all of a sudden is intercepted by Sorcerer King legions that are funneling through
Right.
there, then it's a matter of like, okay, now we need to like set rally points,
Right.
a path
Right.
of rally points, and it
Just move your pioneers.
it becomes quite a
suggestion.
rabbit hole.
You should really kill these stupid darklings.
I'm gonna auto resolve.
You should.
And see what happens. It said victory, so that
Well, they're
probably
darklings.
means. So nobody died. Took a little bit of damage.
What is your
but
administrator doing with your stack of doom, Scott?
I'm trying to get him out, but you keep talking to me about stuff.
It's my fault.
Yes.
It's always my fault.
I will gladly shift whenever possible. Shift that blame. Okay, and now I'll take these guys out too. Oh, champ level up. I don't think I've talked about his tree.
I don't think you have.
All right, so I picked up Dwarven Fury. Like I said, a lot of his attacks tend to be bigger, badder, but they will more berserky, where they will hurt enemies or hurt friendlies. So I got Dwarven Fury. There's Shale Strike, which knocks guys back and then puts up a defensive wall between you and them for a couple of turns.
Kind of awesome.
So messing with the battlefield a little bit. Glacial Touch. Every time the Dwarf Lord is attacked, initiative goes down. So you can kind of tank him. Enemy initiative, yeah. So heal him up and then tank him, and then tie that into Cold Snap, which basically every single time you do a melee attack, it could cut their initiative in half. So
Nice.
These two are all about slowing down your enemies and making sure, trying to get them to attack him and only him.
Yeah.
So then their attack slows down. Whiteout, blind everybody on the field except for the Dwarf Lord, friendlies included.
Huh.
Polar Vortex, Dwarven Rampage. Every time he lands a killing blow, he gets to move again. So kind of tying into that Berserker, like use an AoE attack, knock guys down to low health, and then just mop it up with a nice combo of Dwarven Rampage. Everybody likes Beardsmith. I need a new icon for that.
That is fantastic.
Basically, have you seen his beard like down here?
It's a pretty serious,
amazing, and he's got this mohawk. Anyways, Beardsmith gives everybody in your army a 50% boost to cold defense.
That's fantastic.
Beast Hunter, a boost to his attack against beasts, and then you get a spell called Hunting Grounds that you can cast in your area to basically it shows you where there's some beasts to fight. So
Nice.
if you ever need, this kind of goes back into, you get them through the Tinker. This is the Tinker's guys. So if you need to farm some loot, that gives you an opportunity to farm pelts and stuff. Merciless Strength, Draconian Ally. If a battle lasts more than 10 rounds, you can summon a Frost Dragon in to mop the floor.
Excellent.
Winter Wind, it's a teleportation.
This is
anyways,
easily the best hero tree that we've done.
Yeah, I feel really good about him.
This is good. Yeah.
We're already looking at the other guys for a second pass.
Yep.
And then that's always the way it goes. It starts off a little weak. You figure out the
What's
strengths,
awesome,
what's awesome,
yeah.
and then go back. So everybody will, heroes and sovereigns alike will be definitely getting a second pass and hopefully a third pass as we iterate and move towards gold. But
Excellent.
this guy should be a lot of fun for people to play.
Totally. I have one question I want to get to here, which is a great question. Is there enough XP on the map to train several armies, or is the game really balanced around having one army? Which is an interesting question, because like we talk a lot about the Stack of Doom, right? And that's definitely to some extent the case, because I mean, ultimately, you can only fight the Sorcerer King with one army.
Yeah.
Like, to win the game, you have to go fight the Sorcerer King.
Yes.
Unless you're playing the Tyrant, and you snipe his spell. But so I mean, ultimately, that's kind of where it ends up. But like, I mean, if you're playing on a large map, or Christ, even a medium map, like they get really big. I mean, you could certainly have multiple armies running around, clearing the map out.
Yeah.
To be honest. to be honest, unit experience isn't nearly as important as hero experience.
Yeah.
I mean, not that it doesn't help. It's hit points and accuracy, which is great, but it's not nearly as important as hero experience.
Sure.
And the loot that you need for crafting.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's really, I don't know if it's explicitly designed around one army necessarily or multiple army. There's not really a clear answer to that.
Yeah, with those bigger maps, you're going to want to have a nice group. And when it comes to cannon fodder type units getting bumped off, there are late game spells that will spit them out at higher levels. So,
right.
And that's kind of why, going back to the idea of guys, individual units leveling up and unlocking abilities, it gets a little bit dangerous when you have those cannon fodder type units.
Right.
And I know that we've talked about internally, I don't think these are hooked up, but having a divine favor spell that lets you basically turns any unit into a champion type unit where they'll respawn and come back.
Okay.
Or an amulets that do that.
Sure.
Basically some way to increase your roster of,
sticky units.
Yeah. But in general, the game is designed around those heroes and their party, and
Sure.
Unfortunately, cannon fodder units, they're made for one purpose. So
we should give them all red shirts. Brad was so happy with his purple pants. Brad put purple pants on like bandit lords or whatever, and was very excited about it.
We've already decided we need to. That's not going to be enough.
So, and that actually leads to an interesting question. There's a little discussion in the chat about how XP gains work, which are currently based on the differential between your combat rating and the enemy combat rating.
Yeah.
So you get a lot more XP for fighting stuff that's closer to your strength, right? If you're just going and stomping on Darklings, you don't tend to get a lot of XP for it.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting question, right? Like what? I don't know. I have my own thoughts about that. Wow, he really got an upgrade, didn't he?
Yeah, you know what? He's got some summon units with him.
Is that what those are?
Yeah.
Huh.
He shouldn't have summon units with him.
Okay.
He's sharing, his army is sharing a couple of unit types that we'll have to get out of there. But
Gotcha.
anyways, yeah, that's kind of the summon unit effect
Cool.
that we're playing with. Something a little, like I said, a little more ethereal. We're going to have to work on particles and the texture itself.
Right.
But
I was going to say, like, they kind of look like work in progress right now.
Yeah.
Which we definitely don't want to give the impression of. But that's cool, though.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
something shadery and different. You know.
Yeah. And man, the lieutenant looks way better than last time I checked him out.
Yeah, particles definitely help.
That is a big difference. Awesome. Let's see. I want to get the lightning round in here and then wrap up the stream, I think.
Overwhelming victory. Yes, on resolve. Overwhelming victory means you win and you don't take a hit. So
nice.
That's nice to know.
When your administrator leveled up, that's super important. Good thing he's in your army there.
I'll take him. Okay, here's the plan. See all this grain? I was going to place a city until this a-hole showed up. So let's...
here's a question from the forum, which is another good one. That what about like user-defined like flags or points of interest or stuff on the map? Like, so you could put a thing. Ooh, I need to remember where this thing is.
Yeah, basically a landmark stave that.
That would be cool.
I like that. I like that for multiple reasons, because the moment that the player, like with these games, I always get you get tied into locations and areas for reasons other than just the gameplay. Like, I would love to be able to put a stave down and say, a great battle was lost here. Remember the fallen of troop, whatever. But yeah, I could see that being useful for sure.
So that's kind of interesting. Question in the chat. So basically, I can't power a level 1 hero I find, but I have to find some leftover weaklings because fighting anything actually strong is just suicide for level 1. Oh, that's not true at all. You make XP potions, which is what I like to do.
Yeah.
You can stick them in with another stack of tough stuff to go find big things to blow up. Like that's
what tends to happen.
Yeah,
is that you get a nice mix of veteran units and green units, and you have to be a little bit careful, make sure that they survive. But because of the XP algorithm, they'll end up if you can go in and take out demons with your level 1 peons, they're going to get experience quite a bit faster than an early game. So it works itself out.
Excellent. All right. That about does it for us this week, I think. We got to show a little bit of stuff anyway, if we didn't have a ton of stuff. Want to thank everybody here for joining us on the stream.
Let's end it with
to go see the Ice Lord Keepers of the Flame.
Come on.
We got to get those stupid truncations off of the labels. That drives me nuts. But yeah. So next week we should have hopefully Enchantment to show off, so that people can see that.
We will definitely have Enchantment. We'll have all the Binks.
For all of our
miners
factions
in to talk about. Just a whole bunch of stuff going in. Maybe even some new front end screens. We're getting kind of overhauling the Sovereign Select.
Oh, nice.
And whatnot.
Very cool. So we'll have a bunch of stuff next week. And this is all obviously stuff that's going to go into beta 4, which is going to drop probably first week of February is the plan. So it should be in your hands pretty soon. Also, stuff coming up. Galactic Civilizations has a beta drop tomorrow that adds the battle viewer, a couple of even larger map sizes, and a bunch of other stuff, which is awesome. Extreme Worlds is in the Galactic beta, which is cool. And then next week we have a big announcement, which I'm very excited about. That I think people are going to be pretty pumped up.
Can I tell them?
No. Nobody is allowed to say anything until the announcement.
I don't know if I know
That's
it.
how
We
it
have
works.
so many announcements on the horizon.
2015 is going to be a crazy year for Stardock. So anyway, thanks for joining us on the chat here, guys. We will see you next week. In the meantime, drop us, your notes and your feedback and everything. We love to hear it, and we'll chat with you later.
See you guys.
If I can find the button.